All right, what's up? Running around, still up here in New York City. This is as the sun's going down. We're just gonna mess around here for a second and get back into some daylight and check out some stuff. Go ahead and like if you want to like. If you don't, I don't click unlike. Uh, Subscribe there. It'd be kind of cool if you want to. We're gonna check out some Teddy Roosevelt stuff. Less weird today, more history, but there's some cool history here. Maybe a little more boring. Than what I usually go for. But there's some cool history around old Teddy. There's a statue of him here, obviously, on his horse there. I guess rough riding days. Um, he was born in New York City, which I never knew that. I don't think. Um, don't really think of Teddy Roosevelt and New York City going hand in hand, but that's where he was born. Lived in Manhattan as a child. His famous home, Sagamore Hills, is outside of the city, but it's not far from downtown New York City. We'll head there too, but this is in Manhattan. His childhood home. That's it over there. We'll cross the street and get a closer look too. His birthplace, childhood home. Now the bummer part of it is that ain't real. It's a replica. They tore down the original in like 1916 to build a store here. Naturally, we needed another store, but eventually that store was torn down, and they built a replica here of Teddy's house. It's a house and museum. Next door was a house that looked just like it, and they copied it to build this one. Then, naturally, hey, we need to go ahead and tear down that other house. So they tore down the one next door, which was its twin, and built a museum there. So all this is fake and phony. I shouldn't say it's all fake and phony. This right here is legit. This was the shirt he was wearing. This is inside the house. This is the shirt he was wearing when the crazy saloon keeper dude tried to kill him, tried to assassinate him, shot him, and he just freaking continued on, did like a 90-minute speech. So they've got that shirt here, X-ray. They've got some cool, the old school original teddy bears from, they got their name from Teddy Roosevelt. Over here on the other side of that assassination shirt, beside this picture, they've got his Rough Rider uniform too. So they've got some legit stuff in here, even though the house is a replica. The stuff inside is the real deal. And speaking of the real deal, this is the real deal house. Sagamore Hill is what it's called. This is where he lived before he was president, and then on through his life there till he died. And even though this doesn't look like it's part of New York City, this is still New York City area, just out past out further on and through Queens. Officially, this would be Long Island, I guess. It's 25-ish miles, something like that, from downtown Manhattan. So you can be in New York City, and then you know don't take long to get out into in the woods and the boonies a little bit more. This is a lot more secluded than you'd think a president would live. But he lived here before he was president, and then on through afterwards until he died. One cool thing, 20-ish years ago or so, an asteroid. They found an asteroid here. I think it was 2005, and its name is Sagamore Hill. That's what they named that asteroid. So kind of cool, weird, sciencey thing. Nothing to do with old Teddy though. It's real cool walking around these old houses. I guess right there is where you'd pull up on your horse and buggy, your stagecoach, whatever. Back in the day, this is 1880s when he first moved in here. Had it built. I think when he had it built when he was married to his first wife, and it was going to be named after her, and she died before it was finished. So he ended up naming it Sagamore Hill after he remarried somebody else and moved in here with her. Speaking of his first wife, she died the same night that his mom died. So I'm sure that had to freaking hit him hard. I know I lost my mom, and that still ain't. I'm never going to get over that. So I'm sure that hit him pretty rough. But he somehow persevered. He was uh, he was a dork, I guess. A sickly little kid with asthma. Um, Overcame that. Ended up growing up. He went to Harvard, so he was a dork. Not really what you think of. Just a real smart dude. He was a big time hunter. One of these rooms in here, the north room, is where he put all his trophies from all his hunts. But I think he was known for being a big hunter. That fact that he was a big hunter kind of goes back to that attempted assassination. Um, he he knew, he looked down and realized he wasn't coughing up blood, and so he knew that his lungs were good. Nothing pierced his lungs. What the heck? Might as well go on with this speech. So he did. Kept on going, and he went to the hospital whatever later, and they actually ended up leaving the bullet in. They figured that it was less dangerous to leave it in than pull it out. So he had that bullet in him the rest of his life. And the end of the rest of his life came in 1919 here at Sagamore Hill, where he passed away here at home. He'd been having some breathing problems. Had his doctor gave him breathing treatment that night. He said he was feeling better. Went to bed like 4 o'clock in the morning, something like around that time. He stopped breathing, passed away. And about a mile and a half or so down the road, he's buried here at this cemetery. We'll go check out his grave. Cool little cemetery, not huge, kind of back in the woods a little bit. Um, he's up on the hill here. We'll make our way up the path. But the old line is dead, as the marker says there. That's what his son telegraphed to the other siblings there to let them know that old dad passed away. Cool old grave up here. Cool old cemetery. Not one of the insanely old ones that can sometimes be in on the East Coast, but 1900 is when this cemetery was chartered. It's not huge. We'll work our way up the hill here. He's buried up here with his wife Edith. She's up here too. And here's a little thing talking about the funeral. Huge, long funeral procession that they had going on back in the day for it. But he's buried up here behind like a wrought iron fence. You can't get into the fence, but you can get right up to it and see. The only thing inside there is his grave and Edith's grave. It's not anything wild or eccentric or anything like that, but seems real fitting for Theodore Roosevelt, just the way he lived. Be buried here like this. It's a real nice grave, but it's just nothing super fancy. Uh, but I dig the way the whatever, I don't know what those plants are, if there's flowers that bloom out in spring or something, but it looks real cool the way it's set up inside here. I think he was a pretty popular dude, not as divisive, I guess. I'm sure some people didn't like him, but some people are just weird. But not as divisive as politicians are these days. Politician worship these days seems a little weird. But one thing that's cool, one cool quote, Woodrow Wilson said about him after he died, about Teddy Roosevelt, said that death had to take Roosevelt while he was asleep, because if he'd been awake, there would have been a fight. So everybody kind of thought highly of Roosevelt. Uh, Something that I don't think you can say about modern presidents. All right, that's it. Less weird this time. A little more history stuff. Some cool stuff in there though. But that's it. We'll wrap this one up. Get back down into the city. Get out of Long Island, and we'll figure out something else to do.